Greetings and welcome to Yarnspirations. I'm Mary Beth Temple for Hooked for Life, and in this video we're going to take a closer look at the Fading Cables Knit Blanket. Now you can click the link below to download your free pattern, and you're going to need some Bernat Blanket Ombre to make the beautiful stripes. But this is a densely textured cable pattern, but it's not that hard to learn, so I'm going to show you all the steps you need. While you're getting ready, please subscribe to the channel for fresh content weekly on knitting, crocheting, and other yarny stuff, and like this video, and get your yarn ready, and let's get started. Following the instructions, you're going to cast on 105 stitches. I have cast on fewer than that, of course. And you're going to work in knit 3, purl 3 ribbing as followed in the instructions until it is 3 inches or 7.5 centimeters long, ending on a right side row. And then mine, of course, is a little smaller because I know that you know what knit 3, purl 3 ribbing looks like. So I'm right here at the bottom of the first page where it says next row. Now this is an increase row. We're going to put some extra rows in so we have enough to accommodate the cables. And the fact that the cabled fabric tends to shrink in width, by adding these stitches, it means that you don't have a big ugly wobble between the cables and the ribbing. So we're going to purl 3. And again, we've ended on a right side row, so this is a wrong side row. And then knit 3, purl 3 twice because that's in the parentheses. So knit 3, purl 3, knit 3, purl 3, now we have an asterisk, and so we're going to repeat the asterisk all the way across. It's KFB, which is knit front and back, and just as a gentle reminder, you knit in the front of the stitch. Do not push it off the left-hand needle. Knit in the back of the same stitch and then push it off in the left-hand needle. That gives you a 1 stitch increase. So it's KFB, knit 2, purl 3, knit 3, purl 3, and then we're going back to the asterisk. So again, I'm only going to do it twice. You will do it more times than that because you have more stitches than me. But let's take a look at that one more time. So it's KFB, knit front and back. Knit in the front of the stitch like you normally would. Do not push the stitch off the left-hand needle. Knit in the back of the same stitch and then push the stitch off the left-hand needle. Knit 2, purl 3, knit 3, purl 3, and you're going to do that to the last 6 stitches, and the last 6 stitches are knit 3, purl 3. So I did my knit front and back, knit 2, then it'll be purl 3, knit 3, purl 3. I have 6 left. It will be knit 3, purl 3, and then we'll move on to the first row, which is a right side row. Knit 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. C4B, that's cable 4 back. So we're going to slide the next 2 stitches from the left hand needle onto the cable needle. Leave them at the back of the work. Knit 2. One, 2, and then knit 2 stitches from the cable needle. So we just bring this guy up from the back. You can pop the stitches back on the left hand needle if you want, but I find it's easier to just knit them right off the cable needle. 1, 2. So there's my cable 4 back. That's my first cable cross. Let's look at that one more time. We're going to knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then cable 4 back. 2 on the cable needle from the left hand needle. Let them hang out in the back. Knit 2 from the left hand needle. 1, whoops, there we go. 1, 2, and then knit the 2 from the cable needle. So you're going to repeat that. Knit 4, cable 4 back, knit 4, cable 4 back, knit 4, cable 4 back, etc. until there are only 6 stitches remaining, and then you're going to knit the last 6 stitches. Then for the alternate row, you're going to knit 3, purl all the way across to the last 3 stitches, and knit 3. So that is our first alternate row. It says second row and alternate rows, and that's going to be our alternate row moving forward. So I'm going to finish the first row, put in the second row, and then we'll take a look at the third row. For the third row, we're going to knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, C4B, so that's cable 4 back, same way we've been doing. Put the 2 stitches on the needle, drop them to the back of the work, knit the 2 stitches off the left hand needle, and then knit the 2 stitches from the cable needle. And then the next instruction is C4F, which is cable 4 front. So the only difference there is instead of putting the cable needle to the back of the work, we're putting it to the front of the work. And that's what that B and that F stands for. So if you get mixed up about which one's which, if you're seeing the back, the B, the hook goes in the back. If you see the F, the cable hook goes in the front. So we're doing the C4F. So we took the 2 stitches, put them on the cable needle, put them to the front of the work, knit 2 stitches off the left hand needle, and then knit the 2 stitches from the cable needle. So now we're up to the asterisk. We're going to knit 8, cable 4 back, cable 4 front, and we're going to do that across until 4 stitches remain. So we're going to knit 8. Get some more yarn up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whoops, here we go, 8, cable 4 back, and then cable 4 front. So I'm going to repeat what's in the asterisk until the last 4 stitches. And I finished the 3rd row. I worked the 4th row, which is the wrong side row, which was that knit 3, purl across, knit 3. I did the 5th row, which was knit across. I did the 6th row, which is a wrong side row, and now we are looking at the 7th row. One thing that's nice about this yarn is it knits up very quickly. And while I'm talking about the yarn, if you look at the photograph of the blanket that's included with the pattern, you see the stripes come up pretty quickly. The reason that mine is not striping as quickly as yours will is because I'm less than half the width. So the more stitches you knit, the faster the color changes. But if you're curious why mine is still the same color, that's why. Because I'm not knitting the width that you are going to knit. My stripes are going to be taller because I'm not going to change colors as quickly. So we're on the 7th row. We're going to knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cable 4 front. So that's 2 stitches to the front. Knit 2 off the left hand needle and 2 stitches off the needle. Then it says cable 4 back. 2 stitches on the cable needle. Let them hang in the back. 2 stitches from the left hand needle. And the 2 stitches from the cable needle. And now we're to the asterisk. We're going to knit 8, cable 4 front, cable 4 back, knit 8, cable 4 front, cable 4 back. So it's very similar to the 3rd row, but not exactly the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, cable 4 front, cable 4 back. Oops, I gotta finish the foot first. My mouth got ahead of my knitting. And then here is my cable 4 back. So you're going to repeat what's in that asterisk across until 4 stitches remain. You're going to knit 4, and then you're going to knit the 8th row, which is that knit 3, purl across, knit 3, and then we will come back and take a look at the 9th row. I did also want to point out, if you prefer working on a stitch diagram instead of the text instructions, we have that diagram for you right on the 2nd page. There's the key, and what is outlined in red is the repeat. So you're going to repeat those 16 stitches, which are the ones in the asterisks if you're looking at the text, and we're going to repeat. It's a 16 row repeat. So we do have that all charted out for you. So the 9th row is the same as the 1st row. So I know you've seen it, but we're going to look at it real quick just in case you need a little refresher. And while we're at it, you can see our cable pattern is really starting to build up here. It goes very quickly, which I enjoy. Particularly if I'm doing a blanket, I wanna get through it so that I can use it. Okay, so we're on the 1st row again. So it's knit 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, cable 4 back, and then it's simply knit 4, cable 4 back all the way across to the last 6 stitches, and you're going to knit 6. So another thing you may have noticed while you're watching me work is that I tend to always use the short side of that type of cable needle when I'm picking up and the long side to knit from. It honestly does not matter. If you prefer to do it the other way around, it's no big deal. I just like to have the longer section to knit from. And of course, this is not the only kind of cable needle that exists. There's straight ones with bumps in the middle, or you can use a DPN or a pencil or a coffee stirrer or whatever you happen to have. Some people like to do cables without a cable needle. I do not, but you can if you want to. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this 9th row and put in the 10th row, and we'll take a look at the 11th row. Our cable pattern is growing and growing. So now we're going to do the 11th row. We're going to start with knit 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, cable 4 back, cable 4 front. Cable 4 back. Cable 4 front. So the asterisk started before that cable 4 back, so it's cable 4 back, cable 4 front, knit 8, cable 4 back, cable 4 front, knit 8, etc. to the last 4 stitches, and then you're going to knit 4. So this is similar mechanics to some of the other rows that we have done, but since we knitted 12 at the beginning instead of the smaller number, what it does is it moves the cable crosses over. It just sort of shifts everything a little bit. So I'm going to finish the 11th row. I'm going to do the 12th row, which is a wrong side row. The 13th row is simply knit, and the 14th row is a wrong side row, and then we're going to come back and take a look at the 15th row. So this is what it looks like with the 14th row completed. To take a look at the 15th row, we're going to knit 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then looking at the asterisk, it's cable 4 front, cable 4 back, knit 8. So cable 4 front, cable 4 back, and then knit 8, repeat from asterisk to the last 4 stitches and knit 4, and then the 16th row, which is written out to remind you that it's there, is the same as the wrong side row we've been doing, which is knit 3, purl across the last 3 stitches, knit 3. So you're going to repeat the first row through the 16th rows until the work measures approximately 55 inches or 139.5 centimeters, and you want to make sure that you're ending your pattern repeats on either a 7th row or a 15th row. And then we have a decrease row, because remember how we put the stitches in at the beginning, we have to take some out at the end. And then you're going to do a knit 3, purl 3 ribbing and bind off it, cast off in ribbing to match the knit 3, purl 3 at the very beginning. Now, I would also highly recommend that whether using the text or the diagram, that you come up with a way to mark off the rows as you finish them, because this is a quick going blanket, but not something you're going to finish in one sitting. And when you come back, you want to know what row you're on. So either pencil marks on the chart or pencil marks on the text, or maybe you move a post-it note, however it is that you normally keep count. So thank you so much for joining us here at Yarnspirations for the Fading Cables Knit Blanket. I'm Mary Beth Temple for Hooked for Life. Please subscribe to the channel for fresh content weekly on knitting, crocheting, and other yarny stuff, and we look forward to seeing you again here real soon. Bye-bye.